up on Pulse, the San Jose Mercury News managed to dig up details about the next Xbox. Find out why people are scratching their heads.
Also, Swordfish Studios dropped by our offices to give us a sneak peek at their hot new first-person shooter, Cold Winter.
And we went to San Francisco to check out the Game Initiative Conference to give you some tips on how to break into the game industry. That's all coming up right now on Pulse.
Welcome to Pulse, your weekly look into the world of interactive entertainment. I'm Patrick Clark.
And I'm Ronnie Lynn Riley. Today we'll tell you what Ubisoft has planned next for the Prince of Persia franchise.
Plus, we sit down with Sega's Yuji Naka for chat about Astro Boy and try to get the goods on his next project. But first, a few details leak out about Xbox Next. The battle for our living rooms will soon be reaching the next stage, and the San Jose Mercury News has managed to dig up a few details on one of the combatants. A recent article in the publication revealed a handful of specs for Microsoft's successor to the Xbox. According to the publication, the new system will run on 3 64-bit processors and sport a new graphics chip from ATI that'll be faster than anything currently on the market. It will also have at least 256 megabytes of RAM. The potential big surprise is that the next Xbox may not have a hard drive. The article reported that Microsoft plans to release their new console before Sony launches the PlayStation 3 in 2006.
Long before Microsoft and Sony started duking it out for our living rooms, graphics card manufacturers NVIDIA and ATI were fighting for our PCs. It was a fight that NVIDIA always managed to win until now. The tables have turned, and for the first time in years, ATI is on top. According to a report recently released by Mercury Research, ATI overtook NVIDIA in the third quarter of 2003, snagging a 24.9% share of the graphics hardware market versus NVIDIA's 24.7%. The better performance of ATI's entry-level cards, such as the Radeon 9600, over NVIDIA's, is cited as one of the main factors for their new lead.
Far Cry is one of the many games that's making people dish out their hard-earned cash for new graphics hardware. But according to an accusation made by a former intern, Crytek, the game's developer, isn't shelling out cash of their own for the software they're using. The disgruntled former employee reported that the Bavarian developer had not purchased a sufficient number of software licenses for the products they were using. Their offices were raided by the police as a result of the accusation, but in the end, it turned out that the allegations were false. According to Crytek, the events delayed work on Far Cry for about 3 hours.
Far Cry isn't the only upcoming game being published by Ubisoft that gamers are looking forward to. The French game company recently announced that a sequel to the third-person action-adventure game, Prince of Persia: The Sands of Time, is officially in the works. Despite rave reviews from the press, The Sands of Time got off to a slow start after its release. However, an end-of-the-year promotion that offered a free copy of Splinter Cell to anyone who purchased the platformer helped spur sales. So far, Sands of Time has managed to sell over 2 million copies worldwide. No further details on the sequel have been released.
It looks like Take-Two Interactive still can't catch a break. The company has been under investigation by the SEC for the past year for possible accounting violations. And to make matters worse, the publisher recently cut back their expected earnings for the quarter ending January 2004 by almost $30 million. And to top it all off, the Bank of America securities firm is recommending the removal of Take-Two chairman Ryan Brandt for suspicion of insider trading. Analyst Gary Cooper cited the video game publisher's accounting troubles and his patterns of share sales as reasons for the recommendation. At least Take-Two can always count on another Grand Theft Auto game to fatten their wallets.
While it may not have the next GTA, Nintendo still has a few tricks up its sleeve. Reps for the Japanese giant took a moment to drop by our offices and give us a peek at 2 of their newest games for the GameCube and Game Boy Advance. Here's our first look at Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles and Metroid Zero Mission.
The Final Fantasy franchise has been extremely popular basically for the last 2 decades. Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles is a brand new adventure exclusive to the Nintendo GameCube. I would describe it as an adventure RPG. It's not the traditional RPG in the fact that there's no turn-based combat. It's all real-time combat, which I love. It's kind of like that Zelda-esque where you control all the action on the screen 100% of the time. Another aspect that I absolutely love about the game, you can seamlessly switch from a one-player mode to multiplayer mode just by linking up your Game Boy Advance cable. It's a perfect game, you know, for 1 or up to 4 players. One player on their Game Boy Advance screen might have an overworld map and kind of, you know, guide everybody where to go. Another player might have an enemy listing map, kind of say, hey, there's an enemy right around the corner, watch out. third player might have a treasure chest map, and the fourth player perhaps could have an enemy descriptor to kind of tell you weaknesses and strengths of certain enemies and bosses. And as a unit, you need to share and cooperate, that information among the four of you, basically to complete your tasks. All you need is a Nintendo GameCube, Game Boy Advance cable, and you can actually get it free if you pre-order Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles now. Metroid Zero Mission for the Game Boy Advance. It's the 6th Metroid game in the popular series. It's kind of a retelling of Samus Aran's first adventure on planet Zebes. Metroid fans will absolutely love this game. It's got a very similar look and feel to the 8-bit, 16-bit NES, Super NES Metroid games, the traditional 2D side-scrollers, standard Metroid weapons, Ice Beam, missiles, speed boost, spin attack, all the stuff that Metroid fans absolutely love. One of the new features of Metroid Zero Mission is the Power Grip move, which I just love. It allows Samus to jump up, grab onto a cliffside, and still shoot enemies while hanging there. Also, the Speed Boost move in Morph Ball form. I don't think anybody's ever seen that before, and so that's also unique to the Game Boy Advance version. Yeah, back in the 80s when they had an 8-bit, NES, there was obviously limitations as to what they could do. The Game Boy Advance offers up a whole brand new perspective now. And again, once you unlock the original NES Metro, you can kind of compare and contrast the two to see what changes have been made.
While the Chocobos have yet to make their first GameCube experience, there's plenty of other odd animals available for your choosing. Whether it's little green monsters or spiky-haired marsupials, we've got what you want in this week's EB Games Top 10 GameCube Games. Starting off this week's list isn't one game, it's a dozen, Pac-Man and 11 other classics in the Namco Museum. Up at number 9 is the game that shows you just how fragile those little Imperial TIE fighters really are. It's Star Wars Rogue Squadron 3 Rebel Strike. Luigi and his handy Poltergeist 3000 give Peter Venkman and company a run for their money. Luigi's Mansion is number 8. It looks like gamers just can't get enough of watching Mario beat the snot out of Pikachu. Super Smash Bros. Melee at number 7. Sitting pretty at number 6 is Need for Speed Underground. Just remember, you gotta buckle up when you live your life a virtual quarter mile at a time. He may have the power to turn back time, but he just can't seem to keep his shirt on. The Prince comes in at number 5 with Prince of Persia: The Sands of Time. When they're not busy saving Princess Peach, Mario and buddies are busy getting their groove on. At number 4, the multiplayer antics of Mario Party 5. Any game that lets you throw 40-yard behind-the-back passes deserves to be in the number 3 spot. That's right, we're talking about NFL Street. Mario pops up again at number 2. This time, the plumber and his crew are tearing up the track and taking names in Mario Kart Double Dash. And at number 1 is a hero who doesn't need a kart to go fast. It's Sonic Heroes. A Sega game is the best-selling game on a Nintendo console? What is this world coming to?
Coming up after the break, we'll take a look at Cold Winter, a first-person shooter that's wowing everyone with its advanced physics engine.
And we'll sit down with Sega's Yuji Naka to get you the latest on his new game, Astro Boy. All that and more, only on Pulse.